Welcome to Horrificial, where every story hides a shadow, and every shadow hides the truth. The first time Lena Holloway saw the updated HOA rulebook, she thought it was a joke. The leather-bound binder had been slipped under their front door the previous night. Inside, every page was crisp and white, except the first, Rule number 0, obey. No explanation, no context. Just a single word. Her husband, Mark, laughed nervously when she showed him over breakfast. "Someone's got too much time on their hands," he muttered, sipping coffee. But when Lena checked the old HOA binder, which she'd kept on a shelf out of habit, Rule number 0 hadn't existed yesterday. It was as if the rulebook had rewritten itself. Outside, the neighborhood looked the same. Manicured lawns, white fences, perfect hedges. But the air felt off, heavier. Like the quiet wasn't peaceful anymore, like it was listening. And then she noticed. Every single neighbor that morning was out on their lawn standing still. Just standing, facing their houses. That afternoon, the Holloways received a formal HOA notice in their mailbox. Mandatory compliance meeting. Attendance required. No exceptions. They'd been to a few HOA meetings before. Endless chatter about paint colors, lawn lengths, mailbox design. This one was different. No location listed. Just the time, 9 p.m. At 9 sharp, their doorbell rang. Two men in black suits, pale and expressionless, waited on the porch. Their ties were the exact shade of the HOA logo, deep forest green. "Mr. and Mrs. Holloway," one said in a monotone. "We're here to escort you." "Escort us where?" Mark asked. "To the meeting," the other replied. Rule number 0. The way he said it made Lena's stomach turn cold. They followed in silence as a line of neighbors walked down the street, everyone moving the same way, the same pace. No talking, no looking around, like puppets on invisible strings. The meeting wasn't at the clubhouse, it was underground. They were led to a trapdoor hidden beneath the HOA garden. A staircase descended into a massive concrete room lined with glowing lights that flickered like heartbeat monitors. Every homeowner stood in perfect rows, facing a long black podium. On it, a woman in a tailored suit, Chairwoman Grace. Her eyes were empty, not lifeless, but erased. She spoke slowly, every word measured. "Welcome, residents. Please open your binders." The room rustled as everyone lifted their HOA books, except Lena. Hers felt warm in her hands. She glanced down. The letters on Rule number 0 were moving, twisting like worms beneath the paper. "Tonight," Grace continued, "we begin a new era of order. Rule number 0 precedes all others. Rule number 0 requires no explanation. Rule number 0 must be obeyed." Every neighbor in the hall whispered in unison, "Obey." Lena's throat went dry. She turned to Mark, but his eyes were locked forward. Unblinking, something was wrong with him. The next day, HOA violations started appearing on every door. Window blinds not synchronized. Porch light delayed by 0.4 seconds. Resident looked away during pledge of compliance. Lena watched as masked inspectors roamed the street with clipboards and white gloves, tapping houses with strange devices that made the walls hum. When she tried to speak to her neighbor, Mrs. Carver, the woman only smiled a stiff, painful smile and whispered, "You don't want a Rule number 0 violation." At night, Mark began to change. He woke at 3 a.m. every night, stood at the foot of the bed, and whispered "obey" under his breath, over and over. His voice didn't sound like him anymore. Lena tried shaking him. Nothing. Outside, the streetlights pulsed in rhythm with his whisper. 3 days after Rule number 0 appeared, someone broke it. Caleb, the quiet man who lived alone at the corner, didn't attend the inspection ritual. That night, Lena watched from her upstairs window as the HOA vans came. Black, silent. They surrounded Caleb's house, and then the lights inside flickered out. In the morning, the house was pristine, but Caleb was gone. The mailbox bore a black seal, the same one stamped on Rule number 0. When Lena asked where Caleb went, everyone just stared blankly. "Even Mark," she whispered. "You all remember him, right?" No one answered. Caleb no longer existed. Lena decided to burn the rulebook, but when she lit the match, the pages didn't burn, they bled. Thick black fluid seeped from the letters, pooling on the floor like ink. It moved like it was alive, crawling toward her bare feet. A voice rose from the binder. Layered, distorted. "Obey," she screamed, throwing the book away. It landed upright on the kitchen floor, opening itself back to rule number 0. Mark walked in at that exact moment, face expressionless. "Don't make this harder," he said. But the way he said it didn't belong to him anymore. At exactly midnight, every house's lights went off. No moon, no stars. The neighborhood entered something Lena had never felt before. Perfect silence. Not quiet, not calm, just the absence of the world. Through the window, she saw rows of neighbors leaving their houses in perfect formation, moving toward the underground entrance. She grabbed Maya, their daughter, and shook Mark. He didn't respond. He simply stood, his mouth open in a wordless whisper. "Obey." The rulebook on the counter snapped shut on its own. Lena ran. She dragged Maya through the cul-de-sac and pried open the trapdoor. Underground, the entire neighborhood stood shoulder to shoulder facing the black podium again. But this time Grace wasn't alone. Behind her, the walls were moving. Veins and black and glistening door pulsed through the concrete. The podium sank into the floor like a feeding mouth. "Tonight," Grace said, her voice echoing unnaturally, "we make rule number 0 permanent. Obey." The entire neighborhood whispered. Lena tried to back away, but Maya was pulled from her arms by hands that grew out of the floor itself. Mark emerged from the crowd, but it wasn't him anymore. His skin was pale, eyes black like polished stone. "Don't fight it," he whispered. "It's easier this way." Lena turned to flee, but there was no way back. The hallway behind her was gone. In its place, black iron bars, and beyond them, darkness that breathed. Grace extended her hand toward Lena. "Rule number 0 doesn't need believers," she said softly. "It only needs obedience." As Lena screamed, the floor cracked open beneath the crowd. The neighbors didn't resist. They simply walked forward and vanished into the void. The last thing Lena saw was Maya's eyes, wide and unblinking, whispering the word she feared most: obey. The next morning, the neighborhood sparkled. Lawns perfect, houses pristine. HOA newsletters are freshly printed and delivered. No one remembered Lena Holloway, but a new family moved into her house that afternoon. On their porch, a leather-bound rulebook waited patiently. Inside, the first page read, Rule No. 0, Obey, and beneath it, in fresh black ink, Welcome Home. In the end, no one needed to enforce Rule No. 0, because everyone had already started to obey. And if you're listening to this now, maybe you've already obeyed too. If this story sent chills down your spine, make sure to subscribe for more twisted tales from the dark side of the suburbs. Because in places like this, the rules don't protect you, they control you.